Wenjun is locked in. She means business, and with this lead, things are certainly looking in her favor.
Well, everything is standing for Wenjun, and it was the same case yesterday. She showed her stability, her focus, her determination, and this is what we're seeing here. She's not playing perfect, but she makes much less mistakes than Yifan, and much less blunders. So it was, yeah, it's very difficult for Yifan to switch strategy and not to make mistakes. That's important. And you know, draw is also a result. They barely make draws.
They made one draw, and that one actually should have been a victory, I think, for Wenjun. And here we see it's a Sicilian once more. This was an opening where Yifan got a very pleasant position before she made that uncharacteristic blunder.
Interestingly enough, we have the same position so far. They're repeating it.
Yeah, and during the break,
Bishop
was
B2 new move.
And not liked by the engine. Not liked at all, but A6 was not the answer there. I'm just going to check whether there's been one game. There has been a game on the database that continued with black going queen to B8.
On B2? That was kind of strange. A6 may be slow. Yeah. I thought there are other options also, but it's much more logical to play bishop B2 and only much later to play B3 if you want. I mean, it's very important to protect this. I mean, it's so dangerous, right? In this position, she was playing B3. I mean, you don't allow, or very rarely you allow when it's good to weaken your square. So knight C5, queen E2.
We have some moves as
knight E6
tries to cement control over the D4 square. It's great strategy. Bishop to E3, of course. Wenjun does not let that happen. So now the question for black is, how are you going to unite your pieces? You know, are you going to come out with your queen to A5? But all the time, this is one of the things about this type of position for black especially, is that you always have to deal with these knight jumps to D5. You know, white is just going to go B3, knight to D5, just sit there with the rooks in the middle of the board, and black is the one that is left trying to find an active plan.
That's true that it can happen to black, that it seems like that the pieces are standing on the right square, but actually they are not so active as they seem at first. Black wants to play and prepare B5 in some sort in this position, playing rook B8. That was the idea, but now the question is, will be there any real opportunity for black to do so? Because for now it's not possible, because white can cap c takes b5 and then simply knight takes b5, right? So black will have to make more preparational move like queen a5, queen a5, b6. Very unusual to me. Wow, b6.
Yeah, I was expecting queen a5, but I guess this was the whole problem with like queen a5s, b6s, that the knight is just posting up to that central square.
b4.
And you can drop the e4 square? E4
because knight bishop takes b6 and I'm winning material, no? No, bishop g5 played.
It would Wenjun, she doesn't like to take risk. She wants to keep full control and keep everything. Yes.
But and now b4,
b5. I'm going to be rising up the b4, b5. Yes, e7 is falling. And it appears knight to e6.
Again a blunder.
And then g5.
Blunder.
Wow.
Maybe rook takes d4 and bishop e7.
And sure enough, that's
Bishop
happening on the
e7
board.
and bishop f6.
Yes. Oh, wow. You get control of all of the dark squares. And Judith, that is exactly what is happening on the board. Knight f6 incoming. You pick up all the dark squares, and black is going to be consistently worried. Also, the
But bishop f6 is a
super
huge
weak,
problem.
and what to do?
No, bishop takes f8.
Bishop
right?
f6.
Why not to take bishop f8? Bishop f6, of course, that's that's the tough one, yeah? Why not to continue that way?
Well, Yifan is asking the questions, right? So it's not that easy for Wenjun. She has to play very accurately. And she takes on, okay, rook c7 in the air, but not the best move.
No, now suddenly black has counterplay. Okay, so great chance for Yifan. I mean, it's still awful for black. Queen b2 shows up in a second, right? I mean, knight e7,
yeah,
e8, knight we can take.
But Judith, now both players ticking to their 20 seconds. Do you think this is a kind of position where white will lose control because she grabs on c8? I can see this turning around. With a rook
I can see this being a draw without any problem. But now it's winning also. Okay, so Yifan needs this. Needed this desperately. Yeah, the quality of games dropped. Black still has to win. Some technique has to be shown. Okay, so it's still not so clear how black is going to win, though these pawns, these are the weakness of the position. Black square bishop, bishop f2, king f3, but still I'm wondering how this king from g7 will cross d6. What a possibility. Okay, g5, very good. h5, exactly, all the gates are closed for black. All the gates. Actually, unbelievable that Wenjun is saving this game after blundering so many things in a winning position. But now it seems like we're going to be witnessing a draw. Unbelievable game. Seconds on the clock. Seconds on the clock. And it must be so painful for Yifan to draw this. After that, she had that opportunity. And what a game, what a game. Wenjun played well, and now the new game starts. Again a Petrov. Again a Petrov, and for a 3-point lead for Wenjun. It's a lot. Okay, so we are going into the middle game shortly with very similar what we had in previous game. And let's see what black is up to. f6. f6, interesting that, wow, Wenjun maybe wants to go queen d7 and long castle. I'd be surprised that she would feel that way.
Yes. Unbelievable last game. The golden opportunity there for
What a save! What a save.
Completely. That's actually going to be really difficult to recover. You know, she's been making those blunders, and then suddenly Wenjun just pulls the rabbit out of the hat. And it was a magic trick how she managed to save that one. But Yifan has to, again, we've been talking about it, readjust, refocus, and forget everything that's happening as she goes for this system. It's like a reverse pack, I think we called it, with this. Maybe she's going to go c3, maybe she's going to go a4.
But look what Wenjun is doing. Look what she's doing. She plays f6, bishop e6, queen d7. She makes all the kind of moves that she's ready to castle long. It's not Wenjun who is sitting there, right? I mean, that's not her style. I mean, she usually plays the quiet, developing move, short castle, and quiet. She has this three-point lead, and then she wants to h5. Look at that. She's going to be attacked like crazy.
She doesn't. And we're going to have a race, which just means that she's confident, right? Because we saw her do this against Polina Shivalova yesterday. You know, when she thought, I've got it in the bag, that's when she just went into a completely different mode. And the pressure is on her Yifan. How is she going to maintain that pawn on b5?
The pressure is definitely on Hu Yifan. At the same time, what was this?
Bishop takes pawn, right?
What was this? C4? Bishop takes c4.
So it's possible. Yeah. You can't
Things are
capture
happening
the bishop
too fast.
because of queen takes queen. Yes.
But one unexpected shift from Wenjun. I like the way Wenjun builds her strategy.
Fun. Me too. Because I was going to say, it was like, you know, the last game must have been very, very painful for Ho Yifan. So instead of just being solid and allowing Ho Yifan to kind of readjust, just emotionally get stable, she's like, no, let's just really just ramp things up and just set fuel to the fire there. And now that's super sharp stuff, and the heat is on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really smart thing what Wenjun did, I believe. And well, look at the position. She has extra 2 pawns, not too much of a danger from white side. Black bishop can always go back to c6 and defend backwards the b7 pawn at the same time, being powerful and aggressive and attacker forward. Wow.
And Ho Yifan down to 40 seconds on the clock. Yeah. Completely thinking queen b3. At least the one thing to say for white's position is that there are open lines to attack the king down. So you have a target on b7, but naturally bishop c6 will happen, just knitting
e6.
the black defenses together. Yeah, not happening.
No, but e6 was also no big deal. Queen d3.
And this is also a fantastic move. You know, you don't want to be helping white improve the knight. Instead, you just say, let that tension brew in the center, and I will make sure that I keep control over the all-important e5 square. And there's no way for this rook on e1 to get into the game. You want to be going rook c1 and maybe some sacrifice on a c6.
Can white avoid exchange of queens if queen d3? King a8. What a super safe move.
Right. But this is allowing all kinds of, I don't know, the king is not very safe with the bishop on g2. So I'm thinking that there's rook c1 ideas.
That's what I wanted to show, not rook b1, but rook c1, and somehow just eliminate that bishop, and then my bishop on g2 finally can show its full perspective. But it seems it's not the case. e6 finally.
Yeah.
Knight h4. White is getting back in business.
Yeah,
at
but she
this.
doesn't have
Yeah,
too much time on the clock,
G6,
Judith.
F5 square. You can't have everything. But she's gonna be good. Play fast. Play fast. Nothing else.
That's exactly the name of the game.
Queen E5
And
Queen D4. Okay, white is still kind of bad. Rook B3, Rook B1. Put pressure. Okay, not to blunder that. Uy, 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 uy.
and the F2 pawn falls, and Wenjun wins. She wins, and it's now 4 points that Yifan has to make up. As the players begin again, and this time from Wenjun, no more e4s. It is a knight f3.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is that if you haven't seen the games and you know that Wenjun is leading 8-4, I would say that with some luck, Wenjun can turn around things. But seeing the last games, I see that Yifan is so shaking and blundering so many moves that I don't see much of a chance for her to recover. This is the sad story. Wenjun has a fantastic position again with white, but black played d6, while previously we've seen a game by them playing, knight e8, and then black knight went to d6. But this is, I think, more logical. Black played h6, trying to go knight h5 or knight h7, and then play in the center somehow to play f5. Even though, of course, it's not easy to get great attacks with black if white is very careful, especially that white has a fianchetto bishop. Anatoly Karpov was torturing me with this. Against the King's Indian, he played the g3 system, and it's just so difficult to create real messy position and attack with having the bishop on g2. So that's a very safe way.
She's going to have to try it, though.
F4.
She's going to have to do it. No. Okay, well, now is a chance. Now is a chance.
Knight b5 is a bad move.
Right.
Knight b5 is clearly a bad move.
But sometime to knight... Can you do the same? Can you go knight to g5 and start to come in? Or maybe bishop c8? This bishop is used to
Exactly. Exactly. Bishop c8 will come. f4... I thought about that because it's nice to stop white playing f4. Had to play f4 in the previous move. Okay, white is aiming to reach the magical e6 square for her knight, but I think black is pretty good in time. Knight g5. Look at both of the knights are protecting the e6 square. At the same time, the g5 is also supporting all kind of attacks. Rook e1.
Right. Bishop c8 in the air. F3 in the air.
Absolutely.
It's a dream position here for Yifan. Bishop to e5. I mean, the main thing is that she has to not run down the clock and not panic and blunder, especially in light of what everything was happening past. Yeah, bishop to e5 made a lot of sense, but that wasn't the move. Given a question mark. Okay, queen f6.
The c7 is hanging in some cases. But after queen f6, for the moment, I believe, first of all, h4 is possible to push away the knight. Like now, h4.
Well, this is awarded a question mark. I mean, what could be wrong with this move? Okay, it is not that. Maybe it was something a bit more aggressive, like chasing away the knight, but okay, that's it's difficult to spot. Now here, the question is...
Finally, bishop c8, but it should have come earlier to bring back this bishop. It's always good to bring back because it's simply that bishop has a much better role on that diagonal than on b7. Look at that. What is this? Rook e5? Queen, rook g8, bishop h3.
She's got rook f5 as well, bishop And is also
C7.
Mm-hmm. I'm also wondering whether you can, just to clarify the position. Okay, this one I like. Rook to G8, incoming. Be careful where you put the queen and the king.
Absolutely. That's, yeah, it's a question for white. Okay, rook E1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the bar shows that white is losing, but when you play the game, it is not that simple at all because you don't know. I mean, look at that, what happened. Rook F7, double question mark. Why? Why is that? Why is
It's
that?
not very
Queen
clear.
H5, hold on. Queen H5 was the move, maybe.
Well,
okay, King H1, Queen H4. Okay, there is no mate threat or anything like that.
Yet, Judith, though, if black doubles up on the G line, then there's going to be problems. And then,
oh yeah,
the black
and it's
king
coming.
is so unsafe as well. It is, yeah, you just got to ignore that D6 pawn and just get on with the task. Checkmate ends the game. Rook G8, Rook G7 is what I'm expecting. And she finds it. She just got 29 seconds on the clock, Judith. So once again, it's all about the nerves, the composure, forgetting everything that's happened. And Zhu Wenjun in desperate trouble. Her king is vulnerable to bishop g2 checks. There's also problems with a g1, queen to g, queen takes f2.
It seems like probably white is going to be collapsing in this game.
Mm-hmm.
Before protecting.
F2.
F2. C6, look at that move.
Okay, just preventing any bishop d5s, but okay. Bishop c6, so c6 was kind of a moment of genius, and bishop g2. I mean, black is so close to giving checkmate on g2 and g1. The question is how to do it, and this is a nice step.
Okay, but now rook e7. The bar is making some nice exercises there.
Yes. And all the while, the player is playing with seconds. And white is on the verge of promoting the queen. You can go rook to g1.
This white is better. What, knight d6 or what? No, maybe
not
just...
anymore. Okay, you got to cover h2. Queen takes. And now you can give a check on c1. And you can pick up the knight on d6. And it is all... Yifan wins. And once again, the gap is down to 3 points and just 4 minutes and 51 seconds remaining on the match clock. This could very well be the final game being played at 3+.
Well, if Yifan can win this game, then she's completely back in business. Absolutely. If she wins this game, she's back in business. Though we are in the Petrov, which is not the most exciting, not considered the most exciting opening, though they choose this line where it can be an interesting game. D takes c5.
But we have a change of approach. I mean, this was absolutely necessary. It did not work well for Yifan in their previous encounter. And we see, okay, at least she's taking control of the center. And I agree, it's not the most exciting position, but you can take on c5, as you mentioned. And yeah, we're going to be seeing at least white has that positional nugget, that weakness on d5 to start targeting. So yeah, this is designed to fight against any potential bishop to g5 pins.
Yeah, but bishop on f4 stands also very nice. Queen d2, rook d1, knight d2. Okay, nice isolated pawn on d5. Nice. Now on d4.
The how far will it go? Now, decision
Actually,
time
d4.
for
Yeah, but d4 is a
yeah.
good move because black afterwards can play bishop b3, bishop b4, and forcing c3. So the isolated pawn will disappear.
Well, the question is where you're going to go with your knight, right? You have some options. You can go to knight b5. Knight e4 was the one chosen. And...
Mistake. Knight e4. Bishop b4. Why didn't she go bishop b4? Now after bishop b4, I'm not going to play c3.
But the rook on e4 it feels misplaced.
Ah, but she wanted to play bishop d5 maybe and capture on f3.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, how do you fight that? Bishop d5.
Bishop d5. I'm curious.
I mean,
bishop f5. Rook e2. Queen d5 is a sensible move now, I believe. Queen f6. Why is it 2 question mark? Tell me. Why?
Is bishop e5? Is there some...
Knight e...
No.
Knight e... positionally you do this. And I have to take knight e5, rook e5, bishop d3, queen d3, right? Or, yeah.
There was some
or rook d5.
Amazing variations, actually, with bishop takes h6, but I think that's a computer suggestion. I don't think the players would even have found that with 2 hours on the clock. But,
yeah. And the pin. Oh, that's a nice one. That's a nice
exactly.
one.
But okay, it was a difficult spot, you know, because it just came out of nowhere. But anyway, it's a nice position for Ho Yifan here. She's got her rook to the beautiful 7th rank. Queen e4 is in the air. b7 is the target. And this knight on f3 is just itching to get into the game at the right time via a knight to e5 jump. So it is Zhu Wenjun who is under pressure.
Yeah, and this one, Hu Yifan has to win. She has to win this. And if she wins this, then she may win the match even.
Wow.
Look at that, rook e5. She's going to go rook f5 at some point if bishop d6. Also gaining time advantage.
Do you think that if this goes into the bullet portion and Ho Yifan is still trailing by 3 points, is that an insurmountable gap in terms of Zhu Wenjun's skill, the +1, and also her style of play, which is just very rock solid?
Well, I'm thinking that, you know, if this game will be, let's say, Hu Yifan wins, which actually in the moves, I think we might ruin some of her advantage. That will give a lot of extra energy that, okay, she got it closer. And then anything can happen in the 1 minute. If this one she's going to be losing, I don't think she has a real chance to turn things around. Because then again, to be like -4, right? So that is too much at this level, I think, because if and in that case it will be all depending on Zhu Wenjun. If Zhu Wenjun is not going crazy in the final phase of the events, then she's going to be winning with +4. If Hu Yifan wins this game, then I think anything can happen.
Okay. Well, it's a big difference, right? So +4, probably difficult for Ho Yifan to strike back, but 2, anything can happen. Well, here, this is a game where all 3 results are actually still possible because we see the white queen being driven back. The white king isn't entirely safe, and the pressure against 2. And this is going to be the final game played at 3+1. It's going to be bullet incoming. It's down to the final seconds. Wenjun, can she hold her nerve? 8 seconds left on the clock. It's just about playing those good moves, but she's still having to deal with unpleasant moves.
White again.
White is much better.
Sorry?
Still much better, right? Because the knight on d3. Now the queen and knight are going to be working together. This pawn on d4 is still a target. 5 seconds on the clock.
Less rooks on the board, the better it is for black.
Yeah. And now the king starts coming in. Okay,
Queen
Yifan just tap away.
Queen e5.
Queen e5.
Knight.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And now king.
Goes knight f3, d3, king d. Okay, great check. King d3. Oops, look at that. Knight d3, knight f3, taking the pawn.
Exactly.
Oops,
and
c4.
c3, c4.
I mean, Yifan has to. No, sorry, I thought she blundered, but great move.
No, but a fantastic move, and that is gonna actually net the win as the c pawn is gonna march up the board. It is unstoppable, and Yifan wins and narrows the gap down to 2 points. And the emotions are clear on the player's face. Wenjun, she was looking so comfortable, and now she's just there down 2 beats. Yifan making her comeback. Oh, what a portion that was, Judith.
Absolutely, this was so important for Yifan to win these last 2 games. It was so important. It was a must, and now she bounced back because she made it equal in the 3-minute portion, right? And then now she goes for the 1+1. Anything can happen. They're going to be playing at least, I don't know, 10 games or something.